What's up, Ernie? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh man, I appreciate you big time, man, taking time to do this. I know you're busy and everything, so thank you so much, man. Big time.
It's my pleasure. You've been down with us for a long time. And for the
Right.
people that don't know, you make these crosses that you make, right? You send out to people, and I have a bunch of them. And I always wear them when I play, so you're always there.
Man, that's so you know what, that's so cool, man. And like even my wife, she'll be like, "Oh, look, check it out. Ernie's got on that cross,"
I wore it. We played the Grammys back in a few years back. We played on the Grammys, and I wore three of them because I lost three of my band members. Oh, there you go. There it is, right there. I wore all three of them for each one for one of the band members that I lost. So I appreciate it. I told all the guys. I told Ice. I told everyone. I'm wearing these for this from my friend Mike. He makes these. These are for the three guys that passed.
Oh man, that's so cool, man. Yeah, man. Y'all, let me tell you, man, that means a lot, man, for real, Ernie, man. You know what I'm saying? It really does, man. That means a lot. I'm very thankful, man, that for you doing that. And I'm happy to send them out to you, but it really it means a lot, man. Speaking of all those guys, man, so you're an original founding member
Right.
of Body Count. And so like starting off, man, like when y'all decided, man, we're gonna start this band or whatever, what was the how should I say, like the vision for the band? What did you have envisioned?
Well, when we talk about the band, we have to, go back to the beginning of what happened. So I've known Ice T, Tracy since high school. He was always my friend. And when he used to play, he used to break dance. And when he used to break dance, I was always the backup band for all the break dancers. So time goes by. He went to the army. I continued to play music, and he came out of the army. He was a ranger. He went in and he was a ranger, which is the badasses of the badass.
Right.
So he came back and said, "Have you heard this music called rap?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been doing it, because this is like the 80s, the early 80s, and rap was just starting to find footing." So we ended up getting in movies. Ended up getting in Electric Boogaloo. We ended up getting in rapping and stuff like that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Way back. That guitar I'm playing right there is a double neck Charvel. Charvel, the guy who made that guitar, made all of Eddie Van Halen's guitars. So
Wow.
yeah, that's a bad guitar. I still have that guitar, and it's one of my cherished guitars that I like. It's because it's a double neck. It's badass. So we were trying to be Motley Crue there too, with all the leather and spikes.
Oh man, but that was the style, man. You're talking about the '80s, man. The spikes on the wrists, the wrist wraps, the gloves. If you had all that, oh man, you were done, man. You
Yeah,
were the
yeah,
stuff.
and we had that. Shabba-Doo, the late great Shabba-Doo, is in that movie right there. And so then he got a record deal with Warner Brothers. He was signed by Seymour Stein, who's Seymour Stein signed, the Talking Heads, Madonna, Seal. That was
Mhm.
his, Seymour was the
Right.
man. So time goes by, I'm playing on Ice's records. The Girl Tried to Kill Me. I played on, a whole bunch of his records. Then we got to a point where we couldn't put any more guitars and stuff on his records.
Right. Right.
So we started a band. We just started a band. I played
Gotcha.
guitar. At first I was going to be the singer of the band. I was singing. I was like, I'm not Jimi Hendrix. I just want to, I just want to play my guitar. And so then I started doing some vocals. He was good. I'm like, you need to, do this. And so he ended up doing it. And, the rest kind of just happened.
Fell in. So originally his plan wasn't to be the singer for it.
No, the band I was going to get a record deal, and that was going to be it. We were going to try to be like the Ramones, do 50 records and be done. So what happened was we did 11 shows, and then we got on Lollapalooza. And so we were playing in LA. We were playing like the Whiskey, little not the Whiskey. We didn't play at Sunset Strip. We played little small clubs. And then the next thing you know, we're playing in front of 40,000 people. The band just exploded all of a sudden.
Wow, man. Yeah. I mean, and then
Henry Rollins,
Henry Rollins, man, legends like that. I mean, that's the other thing, man. Along the way, let me pull up this one young picture of you here, man. I mean,
Oh, that's me with my Strats. That guitar right there. I paid that white Strat. I paid $636 for it in 1976. That was a lot of money.
yeah, yeah.
And here's the story that goes with that. My road manager, who's on the road with me to this day, I've known him 50 years. My dad used to give me $1.50 every day for lunch. I would give my road manager 25 cents. He would give me a lunch ticket. He was hustling lunch tickets back there.
Awesome, man.
I'd save $1 a day. And then I had a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken. My first job I ever had, Kentucky Fried Chicken, making $2.76 an hour. And I managed to save up $636. And I bought that guitar from Guitar Center. And that's why I always tell them, this is why my road manager's with us.
Hey, man, that guy was smart, man. Selling lunch tickets. Man,
selling lunch tickets.
Man. Yeah, man. Hey, that's very smart, man.
Yeah.
Very smart.
He was hustling lunch tickets, and I'd give him a quarter. He gave me a lunch ticket, and my dad gave me the money, and I put the money in my pocket, and I managed to save up to get that guitar right there.
Wow, man, that's incredible. That's an incredible. That really is, man. And then you fast forward to today, man, and man, sometime I can't see these pictures good. Let me see if there's one. Yeah.
Oh, that's my. Actually, what's so funny about that is I'm looking right here at a check I just got from them today. Well, you're in rhythm today. I just got a check. I'm looking at the check right here from selling that guitar right there. That's my signature models with Schecter guitars. It's an EC1, Ernie C1, and it's a good guitar. It's not a learn how to play guitar. You already know how to play to have this guitar, because you're not spending $1,200-$1,300 for a guitar you're learning how to play on. But it's at Guitar Center, and I'm looking at a check I just got out the mailbox less than an hour ago for selling that guitar.
Wow, man, that is nuts, man. We are in the rhythm today, man. Well, look at price wise, man. So $1,300 today, man, and we're talking about
$636
and 70 something. Hey, man, that's you were jumping in deep with that, man, right?
Well, that guitar I bought, that was a Fender Stratocaster, which is an expensive guitar. I mean, Stratocasters now, if you get a real Fender Stratocaster, it's $4,000 right now. Right.
That's what I'm saying. You jumped in. Well, so how many guitars had you owned by that time?
I had originally I bought a guitar called a Tesco Del Rey. Now, Tesco Del Rey is like, if you had one now, it'd be worth a whole bunch of money. But it's a cheap guitar. You probably bought them from Sears or places like that. I got out of a pawn shop. See, I was the only child, and my father and I, we moved out here from Detroit, and so I was looking for something to do. It was besides join a gang in LA. That was the thing to do.
Right.
And so I started playing guitar, and there was a guy who started a band and started the Bloods, right? He lived across the street from me. He was like badass. And he always, he said, I don't want you to hang out with me, because I used to sit and practice. He said, Ernie, you're going to play that guitar. You're going to be big. And he always, when the gangs were around, doing their thing, he's like, Ernie, go in the house. Oh, man. Yeah, that dude, Butchie, I owe so much to him. He passed at 19, that fast life,
Right. It's not a long term. That's the thing. Unfortunately, man, a lot of those guys pass so early, man. That life, you know what? It was actually Monster, Monster Cody, his brother, Lil Monster. I would talk to him sometime, man. And you know what? He said it was actually from an Ice-T song, man. Right. And I had the lyrics up for one of the songs, and it said something about lifestyle. And he said, you know what, Mike? It's a death style. And that's exactly what he said, man.
It happens quick and fast. Yeah. Cool.
Right. Yeah, man, that's nuts. But so anyway, you know what? Since you mentioned Ice, man, I went to his TikTok and pilfered this one, man.
Mhm.
Pirated this little video. Let me play this real fast, man. It's
Okay.
a couple seconds.
Ernie C has been my childhood friends from Crenshaw High. Ernie is a guitar virtuoso. Ernie used to play Peter Frampton in Nutrition. He made his own flash pots, and he would roll around on the fucking stage in front of 100 Crips. And they was like, yo, cuz could play guitar, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that kept me alive, actually kept me alive during high school, because I used to play Peter Frampton songs. People didn't know what I was playing, it was just loud and, play a lot of Isley Brothers stuff, and, play Who's That Lady, those songs that had a lot of guitar in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. That's so awesome, man. I mean, and like you say, it kept you out of trouble. What were some of your biggest influences, like when you were young, like that made you hear the guitar and go, man, that's what I want to do?
Basically when I started playing, I listened to AM radio during the time. AM radio consisted of Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament Funkadelic, Isley Brothers, all that kind of stuff. BT Express, a lot of, the Gap Band. That was AM radio. And then a friend of mine, a guy came home from the Navy. He lived down the street from me, down in the hood. And he says, you know what? You play a lot of guitar. Because I used to sit on the porch all summer long and play guitar. That was my whole thing. I go in the house and he come out and play guitar on the porch, And so he came to me and says, he gave me a bunch of cassette tapes. He says, this is a Led Zeppelin. This is Deep Purple. This is Rush. Listen to this stuff. So I started listening to all that. And then I was gone. I was like, there's you can play more guitar than, what you hear on the radio, because R&B or black radio only has so much guitar. It's mainly horn sections that were dominating at that time.
Right. Yeah, man. So just picking the influence like that's awesome, man. Here's another guitar picture, man. This one's pretty interesting, man. I like this one a lot.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting picture. That hat I have on right there, that's Prince's hat. That is Prince's hat. My bass player was Prince's guitar tech.
Okay.
So Vince was Prince's guitar tech, and that's how he had the hat, and he's like, I said, I'm getting ready to take a guitar picture. Let me wear that hat. It's a little snug, Prince was my size, but he was like 110 pounds.
Very, very petite, dude. You're swole, man. You're a solid dude like me, man. So
right,
yeah,
yeah. But I took that picture. I was just like this is kind of cool, I get to take a picture with with Prince's hat on. But here's a story. One time Prince was playing somewhere, right? And Vince gave me a pass. I'll tell the story, and he's like, he doesn't want anyone on the floor. On the floor means down, walking around on the floor when he plays. Mm-hmm. So I ended up on the floor, So I see Larry Graham, who invented thumping on the bass. Larry Graham played with Graham Central Station. Larry Graham was a Jehovah's Witness mentor that I took Bible study from.
Okay.
So Larry says, Ernie, I'm like, uh-oh. So Brother Graham tells me to come over. So I went over there and sat with Brother Graham. So Vince walks by, he's like, looking at me. I'm like, what can I do? This is Larry Graham.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Who was also Prince's mentor.
And that's the people that you've come in contact. I mean, not just the fact that you're a legendary guitar player yourself, but just along the way, man, it's incredible, man.
I always say I've been very fortunate as a musician. I'm not, the biggest superstar, but a guy said to me, says, you're like the Kevin Bacon of rock. You know what I mean? So I thought that was
nothing wrong with that, man.
I thought it was pretty interesting that it ended up like that, because I'm going to name drop one more. Sly Stone, right?
Okay.
Body Count ended up successful because of Sly Stone. Now,
Okay.
you're going to try to figure all this together. Okay, I was a messenger. I used to deliver packages, when for companies. So I was delivering a package one day to this music firm, right? It was what was it called? Lippman Cohane, Michael Lippman and Cohane. They had a management company. They managed a whole bunch of groups. So I look in there and I see Perry Farrell. I'm nobody. I'm the delivery guy, right? I
Right.
hear him talking. I hear him say, I'm trying to do this song. I wish I could get Sly. I'm like, I know Sly Stone. I mean, I'm the delivery guy. And so they say, who are you? I'm like, I know Sly Stone. Sly Stone lived with my friend. He lived. Sly Stone was high and house sitting and all that kind of stuff. Lived with a friend of mine. Okay, so Perry was doing this song. I got to say this word. It's called Nigga Whitey. It's a
Right. Right.
song, a '60s
I
song
remember
about
it.
racism. It's what it was. You can say it then, you can't say it now. But
Right. Right.
but
Right.
he was doing this song, and they were going to film a video for this movie, which people can find right now. It's called The Gift. Perry's wife directed the movie. So I talked to Sly. I called my friend. I said, and Sly's like, no problem, man. I'll be there. Blah blah blah. So the day that we're going to shoot, we go down to this rehearsal spot, and everybody's sitting there, a bunch of lawyers, a bunch of cameramen, and Jane's Addiction's all set up. They're waiting for Sly, and I'm in there, and they're like, I called over to my buddy's house. I said, "Where's Sly?" He said, "Oh, Sly's in rehab." I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I'm the messenger. So I go to him. I says, Sly says he can't be here today. I said, but do you know this guy Ice-T? He said he could do it if Sly can't do it. I didn't talk to Ice about this at all. So
He's just dropping it.
I just dropped my high school friend's name in there, hoping that could be a life raft.
Right. Right.
So they said, we love iced tea. You can get iced tea. I said, yeah, I can get iced tea. So they're like, oh, can you get him here today? I'm like, I can get him here, and as soon as I can. So I called Ice on the phone. Ice is in the studio with Quincy Jones doing Back on the Block. I'm like, oh my God.
Great timing.
Yeah. So he says, as soon as I'm finished here, I'll come to where you are. Right? We're like, okay, cool. So Ice finishes. He shows up. He does, they're getting ready to do the song. Perry does a verse. Ice does a verse.
Ice does a verse, yeah.
And Perry does a verse. And so Perry says to me, he says, Ernie, you got a guitar? I'm like, yeah, I got a guitar in my car. It's in my car. I went and got it. He says, hop in the video. So I meet Dave, Navarro, and we exchange guitar parts. He shows me the song. We film it right there on the spot. We film it for the movie.
Wow.
Okay. 6 months goes by. We didn't ask for no money, no nothing. 6 months goes by. Perry's putting together Lollapalooza. He calls up and asks Ice. He says, "Can you have a band with Ernie? Can y'all get on the show?" That's how we ended up on Lollapalooza.
Dang, man, that is awesome, man.
So it goes back to Sly Stone.
Sly Stone sets the catalyst for that.
Yeah, for him being high and not showing up. But I have to say, Sly has 5 years sober. He's like 86 or 87, but he has 5 years,
Right. Hey, man, it's better now than never.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing wrong with that, man. That's great. What an amazing story, man. Yeah, man, we used to, so me and this guy, Lee Canalito, he was in some movies with Stallone. He was actually Stallone's bodyguard and managed by him when he was boxing. We ran a boxing gym together.
Okay.
And so we used to listen to oldies. That's what we listened to all day. So we would listen to Sly. We'd listen to, whatever was on Redbone or, anything.
Redbone is, that's the greatest song ever.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, man. Listen. But that was our music, man. We loved it. I loved all kind of music, but oldies was just, it was something different. It was a break.
Right.
Because nobody else was listening to it. So we're listening to stuff going back 50s, 60s. They had a little 70s, you know, at
Mm-hmm.
that point, but it was all, great music, man, and
Yeah.
loved it. But yeah, man, that's an amazing story, man. And so I'm trying to think if that was I remember seeing the video, some video of them, Ice and him doing those verses.
Right.
And I'm trying to think if it was on, I know it's on YouTube, but I mean, I'm trying to think if it was on like the Iceberg. You know how Ice would put out the VHSs
Right.
every like there was OG.
I don't know. I don't know if he ever put that out, but
like a clip of it or something
yeah.
in there.
Well, there's a movie that Perry's wife did called The Gift. It's in
Right.
there.
It's
And
in
then
there,
there's we did it on Lollapalooza. We did it like 6 or 7 times on the Lollapalooza tour because we would do it with Jane's Addiction doing their set.
Right. I bet you that's what I saw it on.
Right.
Maybe it's YouTube, like a clip of it from.
Yeah, and
Lollapalooza
they're dancing and stuff like that. Ice and Perry are dancing. That's when it went further. Because when Ice first met Perry was at that video shoot.
Wow.
I knew Perry like a month before that.
Right. Jeez, man. That all from Sly, man. That's
all from Sly.
amazing.
All from Sly not showing up.
Right.
Because if he would have showed up, I might not have been in the video because I would have no connection really to Sly.
To play. Right.
Yeah.
Right. For him to say, hey, let's play. Dude,
Yeah.
that's amazing though, man. I mean, you put that together and then you end up in that. That's so cool, man. So, all right, man, let's man, you got such great pictures.
One time I heard Jello Biafra. I was talking to Jello Biafra, right? And he starts talking. He's like, yeah, he goes into his whole thing. All of a sudden, I look. 2 hours later, I said, well, we're up to 1974 now. So that's where we are. We're up to 91. Listen.
Yeah, we're getting there, man. Another 40 years, 30 years.
We got 30 years to go now. Let's go.
That's you're right, man. That's awesome. Well, here, man. Let's move into another century here, man. No, man,
Oh, this is too funny.
Oh, man, it's great. It's great, man. Let me pull this one up, man. This is a great picture, man.
Oh, yeah. I have some pictures. I have 30 years worth of pictures with Slash. Duff McKagan is my dear friend, from day one. Duff and I used to drink together and all that. We're both sober now, but we used to drink together. Yeah. Duff and him. That day right there with Duff, go back to that one. That day right there that Duff was on stage with us. He jumped off stage and he didn't make it. He scarred his leg and was bleeding. And then we were going to have a party after. And after I went off stage, they said, "Well, your friend's in the limo bleeding out." I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, that's my buddy Duff. I love Duff to this day. Yep. Yep. He's my guy. Yeah.
You've told between us talking, you've told me a lot of, really cool stories, stuff like that, man, and everything. And so, yeah, that's a really neat friendship, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been knowing him forever. When I first met Duff, he came to help out our band. We were playing, before we were anyone, he came to help us out, and he came to a small little club that we played, the Coconut Teaser. You might know the Coconut Teaser back in the day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he came there and he's like, "I want to help out the band," And so he was talking to Ice, and Ice says, "You need to talk to Ernie about anything, you're doing." So by him coming, he came there to help us out, and then we became friends, and he's a wonderful person.
That's neat, man. Yeah, I remember you had I didn't want to use any of your personal stuff, but you had an older picture, man, on the boat.
Oh yeah,
with your kids and stuff.
With my kids, my daughter was a part of one of his weddings. My daughter was the flower girl, and she always, she's 40, just turned 40, and she was the flower girl. And she always thought she was going to marry Duff. She loves Duff. That's her godfather. She loves him from time she was 5, 6 years old.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, man. See, that's so cool, man. Building those type of relationships along the way, man. So, yeah, that's awesome, man. Here's another one, man. This is pretty dang cool, man.
Oh yeah, that's Dave Mustang. You know,
Right.
Dave ended up playing with us at um, a metal show. He ended up coming out playing some guitar. But the thing I've known when I met Perry Farrell, the same management company managed Megadeth.
Okay.
And so Ice and I were going to do, this was 88. Ice and I were going to do a song with Megadeth. It was just me and Ice. It wasn't no body count. It was just me and Ice. We're going to do a song with Megadeth. I met the management company there. And so then the day that we were having the meeting, Ice was like in Vegas or something like that. He was like, it was a stressful time, and he was in
Sure.
Vegas, and we never did do that record. So then, like 4 years ago, Dave ends up on our record, like
I remember.
30,
Yeah.
30 or 40 years later.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's it got done, huh?
Yeah.
30 years later, it still
But
got done.
the thing about it is, I can say, I've played guitar with Dave. I played guitar with Slash. I mean, the Tom Morellos. I had an opportunity to play with the best of the best. Tony Iommi. I produced a Sabbath record. I played with Tony Iommi.
Yes. I'm gonna pull that one up, man. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's Tony was a very cool. They're getting ready to do their last go round.
Yes,
So
I heard that.
I was just like, wow. I was so fortunate to produce the record, and then the box set came out last year. It ended up #1. They remixed everything. It's a hard thing to produce a Black Sabbath record. People were hating me and so on. It's just a hard thing to do a Sabbath record.
Right. You know what? That's one of my questions I actually have down is how was the process and all that of producing and working for Black Sabbath like that, doing that.
In retrospect, and now I've learned something from that. First of all, they didn't want me to produce the record. That wasn't their choice. IRS Records, Miles Copeland, Stuart Copeland's brother, who ran the record label, wanted me to do the record. So I ended up there. First, I come in as the record company guy, which I don't see how I could be the record company guy. So I come in like that. Tony was very nice to me. He was a gentleman, perfect English gentleman. And he, I had this thing. I was trying to dry up the band. They had this big echo, the 80s big sound. I was going to dry it up and make it sound more like Nirvana, not trying to make them sound like Nirvana, but just take less
the cleanliness of it.
Yeah, the tightness. And so I had a drummer named Cozy Powell. Cozy's one of the best, double bass drummers ever. So I go through everything for a day, all the drums and everything, and I tightened up the drums and, but when I first met Cozy, he said to me, he says, he had 4 drum sets set up, complete double bass, 4 complete drum sets in this big room. He says, I want to play on each drum set for 30 minutes. After the 2 hours that I'm going to take to play all these drums, I want you to let me know what pieces you like, what cymbals you like, and we can put together a drum set. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
Oh, man. You just want to clean up the sound, man.
Yeah, but he had 4 complete drum sets set up.
Dang,
I mean, I usually go and somebody says, here's my drum set. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
we pick parts from each one.
Yeah, he's like, we can put together a drum set or whatever you want to do. So he played on the drum set. I'm going, this dude is badass. So after he's finished playing, I just started picking drums. I like that one, like that one. I didn't know. So,
they're going to matter this dude can play.
Yeah, it's going to sound great no matter what. So we put that together. So then we took 2 days to get his drum set sound right. And so then at the end of it, he listens to it. He's nodding his head. Yeah, that sounds good. And then at the end of it, he says, hey, Ern, he called me Ern. He says, Ern, he handed me a tape. He says, I'm Cozy Powell. Tomorrow, I want my drums to sound like Cozy Powell. Bam. He handed me the way his drums were recorded earlier.
Wow.
And so
Dang, man.
I just told the engineer, turn the echo on, turn.
We're changing that up. Right?
Yeah, just turn everything back up.
Yeah.
They didn't want change. They didn't want change.
Right,
you know.
right.
So,
I got you. I got
mhm.
you. Yeah, man. I mean, they're probably set, and this is how we're gonna do it.
They're
And
gonna do
that's
it.
that.
You know, because Tony would say to me, he's like, I'd be like, it'd be like 8 o'clock. He's like, I was like, we're gonna go out here and do, do another take of it. He says, oh no, it's 8 o'clock. I'm getting ready to go to dinner. I'll see you tomorrow at 11. And he said to me, one thing I learned from him that was pretty cool. He said to me, he says, anything I'm going to play tonight, I can play tomorrow. I'd rather get some sleep and play tomorrow than stay up all night. So
Dang, yeah. He had his set way of how he was going to do it, and that's how it worked.
And that's the way it was. And one last thing about that session. So I'm doing two last things. One thing was I'm doing the session, and Tony's doing guitar solos out there, and in walks Jeff Beck and Brian May together, right? And so Tony says to me, he says, Ernie, what do you think of that? I'm like, what do I think of it? You should ask Jeff Beck and Brian May.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. Huh?
Yeah, don't ask me. I'm just yeah. But anyway, that was interesting. And the last thing was, so while I was doing the record, I get some paperwork. It's a cease and desist, right? And it was from Sharon. They're like, and Tony says, oh, don't worry about that. She does that to everyone. She's just trying to scare you. I'm like, well, she's doing a damn good job.
It's working. Yeah, no joke, right?
Yeah, but she does.
I have heard stories like that about her and things, Yeah.
Yeah, but I met her later on in life. We played the Oz Fest and all this kind of stuff. And she just said, oh, baby, that's business, Nothing personal.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Just trying to cover this or that.
Right.
Nah, I got you for sure. Hey, that'll trip you out though, man. You get
that. You get that. You get a cease and desist with your name on it. Anyway.
Hey, man, if you get that from Joe Smo, it'll freak you out, man.
Right, exactly.
All right, man. Here's one right here, man. This is a big
timer,
man.
Kurt. Yeah. That's me and Kurt hanging. I've known him. We've known each other from the Cat House way back.
Wow.
Kurt's the good dude.
Another legend. I mean, it's just endless, man. The amount of people, man, that you've come in contact with that were, artists like you that are just, you see, whenever I see, it could be actors, whoever, when I see two people that are just so talented like that together, it just like, blows my mind, man.
He's been a good dude. Back in the 90s, I recorded my record at a place where they recorded that Black album at, just because I liked the way it sounded. So I recorded in the same place. We couldn't afford Bob Rock, who did their record, because he was charging so much to do our first record. So we got his second engineer, to do our first record, because he knew all the tricks he was doing at the studio,
Right, got you.
He knew everything Bob Rock,
or whatever.
Yeah, he knew everything Bob Rock did. So we got Uric Wild to do our first record, to be the second.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, man, there was so many. So we talked about it before we came on, man, about the concert, man, that I went to in 92, man. So we're moving up, man. We're in the 90s now, bro. We're in the 90s. No, so anyway, man, and I told you, I said, hey, man, I think that was the last concert. I'm not a big concert guy, man. I saw Ice-T and Body Counter coming, and it was Ice-T and Body Count. That was it. There was no open, no nothing. It was Ice-T and Body Count, period. And so my quick story on that, man. So soon as I see that, and so I've been listening to Ice since 6 in the morning came out, since Squeeze the Trigger, since seen him on Break and whatever, so I'm like, oh man, we're going to this, it's 92. It was like St. Patrick's Day at this little place, and that was the other thing that blew my mind. It was at this little punk rock place, man, and it was called the Vatican at the time.
Okay.
And so anyway, I'm like, man, Ice is playing at the, in Body Count at the Vatican. Man, that's a small joint, whatever, All right, cool, man. So I tell my buddy, man, hey, man, Fred, Fred's never been to any type of metal or anything like that at all,
Uh-huh.
man. Fred's straight up from the hood. He's listening to Scarface. He
Yeah,
grew up
right,
on
right, right.
Scarface is, stuff like that, And my wife, she's been to the Isleys and,
Oh,
different concerts, but not, it's the same thing. Not a bunch. She listens to all music, but,
mhm.
hadn't been to any type of, where there's punk rock or heavy metal or
Right, right,
anything like that. So anyway, we first Ice opens up with the rap, right?
right, right.
Listen, man, the crowd doesn't a crowd with a mosh pit that doesn't, they don't care what you're playing. They could have had Luciano Pavarotti singing opera. They're gonna mosh, bro.
Yes, yes.
So we're up at the front, man. We get to the front. Man, I think my forearms were bruised for like a week
Right.
from just leaning there and keeping people off,
We used to do those shows together, right? And Ice used to tell, probably after that, he used to tell, okay, now the rap people would come up to the front. He said,
Right.
this isn't the mosh song. You don't mosh on the rap stuff. Wait, body count will come out later. Then you can have your mosh pit. So he told them not to mosh on Ice-T songs.
Well, you know what? This may have been pre that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Didn't get the memo.
That's what I'm saying.
They missed that one, man.
I think we told them that after that. We did tell them that after that show, just so they would know not to mosh on Ice-T songs.
This song.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So,
hey, man, we're up front. The moshing starts. I guess before that, I had been to some punk rock stuff. I knew what was going to happen with when I saw the crowd. I'm like, all right, man, there's going to be a mosh pit here, man.
right.
But I got my wife. I'm trying to keep her from getting too, bumped around or whatever. My buddy Fred's behind me, so we we're watching. Shawnee Sean's right up front,
Right.
and so anyway, this chick with like a purple mohawk bumps into my wife, and my wife turns around.
Yeah. So
I'm like, oh, no.
that's the exact reason
right. Hey, man,
that he started to put the disclaimer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Man. Africa Islam's down on
Yeah.
the bottom. He comes over there. Hey, y'all, stop! Please, don't get into no fights, because tomorrow in the newspaper, that's all it's gonna say is fight at the Ice-T concert or whatever. Like, nah, it's cool.
Yeah. So we had to do that disclaimer. So you were at one of the early shows without the disclaimer.
No disclaimer there.
Yeah.
It was great though, man. What a great show. And then after he did his set, he's like, all right, these same hardcore gangbangers I'm about to bring out,
Yeah, we did the trans. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's how it went, man. What a great show and everything.
But he used to be so tired. He was young at that. And we're like, we got to a point where like, we can't do this no more. Those two shows,
That was a long show, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a full set of
Ice-T.
going back. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just that first half.
Right.
We're talking about 6 a.m, and it was all the way up to OG was newer then.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
it went all the way to that. So, I mean, you're talking about you had freedom of speech, that the Iceberg was in between. So he's running 3 albums there first.
Yeah, it was like that show was almost like 3 hours. It was
long,
it was a long. It was a long show.
Great show though, man. I mean, and so let me tell you. So the next one this was going to be my next concert. They're like, Ice-T's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be at this other place. Now, I don't know if they were just doing that to get people at this place or not. I still haven't figured this out yet, right? This was a year or two later. And they go, people are there. I see friends. I'm like, dang, man, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody's right. All of a sudden, this guy comes to the thing, goes, Ice-T had to cancel because the police department refused to do security. Everybody in there goes, that's game, man. If you want refunds, you get, so like half the people, maybe a third.
Never did a show like that.
I didn't believe it at all, man.
Never did a show like that.
Nobody in there, I think, believed it. Everybody was like, that's game, man. So we got our money and jetted, man, because that's why we were there.
never did a show like that.
I didn't think so, man. We didn't think so. And in fact, I think so Charlie Jam was from here, man.
Oh yeah, Charlie. Yeah, old Charlie. Rest in peace. Charlie
Rest
passed.
in peace,
He
man.
passed during the pandemic. During the pandemic,
He
you know.
did. Sure did. A lot of people, man. Do you remember Big Mel that used to be bodyguard for NWA?
I think I do. I think I do. I remember
Yeah.
all of the NWA guys.
Right. And so Big Mel passed too, man,
Yeah,
during the pandemic. But
that was some rough times.
right. But I think I'd ask Charlie Jam even, man, hey, did that happen? And I think he said, nah, man.
Nah, I didn't.
That's BS, man. All right, man. So now we're in the 90s, man.
We're in the 90s.
So,
we're in the 90s.
let's get into the 2000s, man. Let's get into that. Here, this is going to be off topic a little bit, man. But hey, man, you got to have one of your dreams come true, man.
Oh yeah, that's way off topic. but you know, I like The Price is Right. You know what's so funny? They do an interview with people before they go on, right? And so I was doing the interview, and they said to me, they says, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a musician." They said, "What do you do? Smooth jazz?" I said, "Nope, I do heavy metal." They're like, "Oh, we didn't see that coming at all." We didn't see that at all. So I think that's why they chose me.
Is that right?
And so I went down. And so but on the back of that shirt, I was wearing, it says I was on the show in 1994. I was in the audience in 1994. So when I came down, during the break, I talked to Drew and I showed him the back of the shirt. He says 1994. And I said, yeah, I'm in a rock band. I played at Peabody's Down Under. Peabody's Down Under is like the biggest rock club in Cleveland, where Drew is from. He says, I used to drink in that place. I said, yeah, everyone has. And so then I told him the name of the band. So during the break, he went and looked up the band. He came back and says, oh, we won't be playing under your songs. I got it. He said, we won't be playing Talk Shit, Get Shot here. Yeah, I was like, okay, he got it. But the thing about it was I was in the audience in 84 with Bob Barker.
Yeah, that's
84.
The shirt said. Yeah, there you
go. Yeah, in 84. But in the back, it says I was in the audience in 84. In the front, it just says 1984. So to catch your attention, you're like, what is 1984? And then I turn around and show you the back.
Wow. That's cool. So did you have that made?
Yeah, I had that made.
That's cool, man. Yeah,
I had it made, and so that was just like something I wanted to do, and I said I'm going to go back, and I went back, and I didn't get on the showcase and all that stuff, but I just wanted to be on the show to come on down. So that was cool. Actually, it was almost 40 years later.
That's That's nuts, man. How cool, years. Man.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Jeez, man, that is so cool. Okay, so I would almost be willing to bet, man, about 84, I was sitting with my grandma watching Price is Right, man.
Exactly.
She loved it, man.
Everyone loves Price is Right. It reminds me of being homesick from school. It reminds me of, being home with dad. Everyone has good memories of that, I believe.
For sure, man. For sure. What a great show. And then, oh, man, like my grandma would be mad. They'd say some stupid price. Oh, yeah, she's this old Italian lady cussing. So, oh man, yeah, man. And I was probably skipping school. I probably wasn't even sick.
Yeah, see, exactly. It might be at home sick from school or faking sick, whichever one.
That's nuts. So along the way, man, we mentioned a little earlier, man. You guys, y'all get this, man. What an accomplishment.
We won. We were nominated before that for a couple of years before that for a song called Black Hoodie. I thought we were going to win that one. That's the one we played at. It was in New York. It was, at Madison Square Garden. We didn't win that one, but then we came back and, we won it for, for our base fans, it actually means nothing, for the fans that really like it means nothing, but it's kind of like an industry thing. You've been accepted by the recording industry. I do Music Cares. I got sober through Music Cares, which is like the Grammys. So it kind of says, we're accepted. And it's good in a conversation because people always, like, when I go somewhere, maybe say I play guitar. I'm like, I got a Grammy. Okay,
Yeah. That's
You know,
cool, buddy.
you know, yeah, because everyone wants to play a guitar. I play a
Right,
guitar. Blah blah blah. I'm like, I got a Grammy. Okay, that kind of put you over here. You know what I mean?
Let me know what.
Even though it don't mean nothing, don't mean you can play. It actually don't mean I can play.
Right.
But I always say my metal. My two black people have won. Tom Morello and myself as guitar players. That's it. It's
Yeah.
best metal performance. And I told Ice, that says that's what's so interesting about that award. It says best metal performance. It's not song of the year. It's
Right.
not it's the performing. That means we can play.
Yeah. Y'all actually did something, man. Right.
Yeah, we can actually play. It's not we had the 50 producers helping us out. We
Put it all.
actually play on this record.
Yeah. No, that you're right, man. Especially nowadays where you could some people could just make music without even
Yeah.
instruments.
This AI stuff is scary. But the thing about it is, it's like in being in metal and being black just says, a whole lot. It means a whole lot, considering people always think metal is racist and this and that. And it's like the most open community there is if you're sincere about it, because
Right.
like I always like the Beastie Boys in rap. No one really talks about the Beastie Boys color because they're sincere about it. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, Eminem might get flack, but he's good. You can't say he's sincere. Right. He's true to the art. It's not like he's Vanilla Ice who's whacked out. He's good. He's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a real passion for him. It wasn't something he went, dang, I can make a couple bucks here.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go do this. That's where people that's where people catch flack, man, is where, I think, for you, man, I don't think there's anybody as far as back as you've been a musician, no matter what you did, you're a musician, period. I don't think anybody would ever question that. So exactly. Yeah, I think that's the thing, man, is if you really are sincere, you really been in that. But hey, man, that's kind of a question that I have too, though, man. How was there any extra struggle trying to get into metal? Being a guy of color like that, man. Did it?
I'm sitting here now. I'm going to say no, but during the time I was coming up, you could say yes, but it could be if I was a white guy trying. I know a lot of white musicians that I've known, that play rock and roll. Now they're going over the country. They're just going to try to roll, keep it rolling.
I can play that.
Country now is just rock and roll. You know what I mean? So
there you go.
I don't know what the struggle is. I was fortunate to be in the right place at the right time. So that's all I could. And then when I did get into rock and roll, the white artists came to help. You know what I mean? Your Guns N' Roses, your Dave Mustangs, your Perry Farrells, all the white bands came to help us. When I was trying to get into the Black Rock Coalition, they wasn't helping me. They weren't doing it. They were more segregated than anything. So
nobody was reaching down giving a hand.
No, not at all. Gotcha. After I became successful, they came to me and said, "Hey, you want to be in the Black Rock Coalition?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to segregate music any kind of way. I don't want to even be involved with it. I just look at it as music. You can put your musical categories. You might call it jazz, but I don't want to separate it by color."
No, man. I think the thing with that is that you don't want to alienate anybody from what art you're making, man. I don't think, man. I think I don't know that's. I don't care who that's like. I don't care who it was. If it was an Italian guy or whoever, man. What are you just going to be in the Italian Rock Coalition?
Yeah, yeah. It makes no sense. Why you would do that, because music is universal. Music is, it's notes. It has no color. It does have color. It has little black notes.
It's black. See,
it's black. If it was a black musical coalition, that you only played all the black notes.
That's what it was. It had nothing to do with color, man. No, that's great. Well, and it's true, man. Like I said, man, I love music of all kind. And I was watching, there's one performance I really like, man, and it's Pavarotti.
Hold on, let me
James
say.
Brown.
Oh, you said James Brown. I thought you were going to say Barry White.
That's the other one. Me and my wife. Listen, man, 4 to 5 days ago, we watched that one. Barry White.
They hit it. They hit it, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Amazing, man.
Yeah,
And
it was amazing.
those were different shows, too, man. That wasn't even from the, it wasn't like he had all these guys coming at once. These were different.
And James did It's a Man's World. It was great.
Man, that was incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's where I started at with it. I told my wife, I said, have you seen this one, man, with Pavarotti and James Brown? In Italy. Did you see the crowd, the amount of people? Oh my God.
It's actually one of the most amazing shows ever. Yeah.
It was incredible, man. Yeah. And then afterwards, James is going like this.
Exactly.
But it's just a real statement of, man, look at two artists, had nothing to do with any type of thing. Just one guy is 400 pounds here.
Right. Has 300 pounds. Whichever one you decide is which weight.
Right. Oh man, it's just incredible, man. It's such a great performance. It's just a statement of how music can bring so many people of different backgrounds and everything together.
Yeah, exactly. That's the last tour we did last summer. We go to Europe quite a bit because, one thing about European audiences, they stick with you. We can go there at any time. We usually sell out most of the shows. It's a lot of fun. It's good. So touring has become a lot easier than it was at the beginning. Now me and Ice, we have a bus and the band goes on a bus. So it's not rough. Touring life is quite easy now. So it's and then there's another level that comes. We're like in the middle. There's another level that comes with private jets and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole another level of touring.
Sure.
But we're not in a struggling band. We're not all smashed into a 12-seater van that's going around.
trying to travel through together, man.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done one bus, all that kind of stuff. So now it's pretty comfortable.
That's awesome.
I don't go to sound checks anymore. Because my guitar tech Oscar, who's been with me for 20 some years, he does the sound checks. Just show up and play. During the day, you can go to the mall or whatever you want to do. So touring is easy.
Makes it a lot easier, I'm sure. Yeah, you're ready, set up to go, man. Especially when you got a guy like that, that you trust and everything's going to be
what's
good.
so funny? I have an acoustic guitar. Everybody's gone out at touring and stuff, like all my band members. They're working and stuff like. So I was going to go buy some guitar strings. I was like, where do I get guitar strings from? So I'm going to go later on today. I'm going to go to Guitar Center and go in there. I haven't bought guitar strings in maybe 25 years.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, I've been in to buy guitar strings because we get them. Oscar gets them. He changes my guitar. I haven't changed guitar strings in 25 years. 30 years. Yeah,
spoiled, man.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, I need to change my guitar strings. And I'm like, Oscar's gone. I'm like, I can change guitar strings.
I can do it. Yeah,
I can do it.
Still do that.
I thought that. I was at the gym this morning thinking about that. I'm like, I'm making a whole lot of thought in my head about changing guitar strings.
Right.
I said, well, okay, I'm kind of jaded. What's going on here? I need to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get more grounded with that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. I'm like, okay, well,
kicking it old school, man, doing your own.
Because young kids, they talk to me about how to be successful now. I really don't know. You know what I mean? I just know all I say to them is just stay true to what you do. Don't chase anything, because if you're chasing something, you're never going to catch it. You know what I mean? So don't chase fame. Let fame come to you. If you're chasing something, it's always ahead of you. You're always chasing. So don't chase nothing. Let it come to you. Because I remember during the 70s, I was playing guitar. Everyone was saying, oh, this disco is going to take over. And I was still playing rock. And like, it came back around,
Right. And you got to do what you love.
Yeah.
And man, that's great advice, man. Great advice.
Just do what you do, because there's no secret formula. I mean, what I say worked for me will not work for no one else. It worked for me.
Right.
Everyone gets to the same kind of destination, but there's so many routes to get there.
Yeah. Well, that's, man, what a great statement. And you know what? Yours was basically, if you think about it, it just was the destiny of the
Right.
destination, because all the right people along the way, just like Sly not being there that time, set up that, just like, meeting this guy did this, or,
Right.
how,
Everything,
man.
everything just, it keeps you going, and then you get discouraged, and then sometimes you're like, I don't want to do it. But if you just keep on playing, you just keep on playing and keep on learning. It's all about a learning process. The music, the art, just learn the art. Don't I always go back and if you're a guitar player, listening to how music got to where it is. You got to listen to your beginnings, your James Browns,
Right.
your Jimi Hendrixes, to get your T-Bone Walkers to get to where you are right now. Your
Yeah.
BB Kings.
Yes. Yeah. The roots, man, the base of it and everything. Oh, man, that's great. Great advice. All right, man. Here's
Yeah,
one. This will be my last
go
question,
ahead.
man,
Go ahead.
for it.
Let's hear it.
Do you have any crazy touring story, man? Just anything nuts that was funny or anything, man? Do you have anything like that, man?
Let's see. We had let's see. The most interesting. I played guitar with BB King at the Montreal Jazz Festival doing sound check. And he, that was just great. That was just great to meet him and just to say, I listened to you when I was a kid. And he was so nice to me. He had these little pins. He gave me one of those, and he says, I like to see young black people playing rock. Yeah, like, oh, okay.
Wow.
And I thought that was kind of a great thing. And he was,
Something awesome, man.
you know,
That's so
I
cool,
want to
man.
tell this. I want to tell this one story that was really funny. Charlie Jam, rest in peace. I'm Charlie. I want to say this about you. Charlie dated BB King's daughter. You know, uh, and so Mr. King was playing in town. So I was going to call over to the office and ask for tickets to see Mr. King. Right, and so Charlie was just to date his daughter Penny. And so I called over to the office. I said, "Hey, Penny, how you doing?" His office is in Vegas. She says, "I says, she said, Ernie, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine, Penny." She says, "Tell that no good, cheating ass, lying motherfucking road manager you got to never call my ass again. And if he does, I'm gonna slap him on the sight." I said, I'm listening to her going, "Whoa," she's running it all down. And then she says, "And what can I do for you?" I'm like, "Well, Penny, I was."
Yeah, you're about to ask for some
Yeah,
questions.
I know, I thought it was cool. She said, "And what can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I was going to ask for tickets to see your dad play." She says, "Oh, that's no problem, Ernie. He likes you."
That's cool, man.
So I said, "That's cool that Mr. King likes me."
Right, right. Heck
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah, that was the ultimate compliment. She says, "Oh, he likes you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Anyway,
That's a
so
good thing.
So she gave me tickets to see uh, BB King and Johnny Lang together, and I met that kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, man, that's a great story. Yeah, that could have been it. That could have went either way, right?
yeah, exactly. But she said, "What can I do for you?" I'm like, "Whoa!" And I'll be sure to tell him that.
Yeah, yeah, I'll give him the message, man. let me send that over to him.
Anyway,
That's awesome, man. Hey, that's great, man. You know what,
great.
man? I don't think I've ever heard anyone or seen anyone, man, say anything other than good stuff about you, Ernie, man. You're
Thank you
you're
so much.
just I think you're just a generally good guy, man, that people, you know, love to know in some way or another, man. And I wish you much success, man, and everything you do, man. I
Thank you,
appreciate you
Mike.
taking the
It's
time.
been a pleasure to finally do this. And anytime you need me, I'm here. Okay, my
All
brother.
right, man. Thanks, Ernie. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Anybody who's watching this, man, make sure and hit like, subscribe, go over and buy everything from Body Count, man.
Thank you, Mike.
Go to merch, all the stuff, man. It's all good stuff, man. Appreciate it. And thank you so much.
Cool, Mike. Thank you.